today we're going to be covering cynos. So the most important thing you need to keep in mind when cynoing is what stations are good, what stations are bad. Some of you may have heard the term kickout. Now, what a kickout station is, it's about docking radius. You'll notice that when you warp to some stations, you land directly on the station, and then you dock. And with other stations, you are landing 80k from the actual hull, and then you dock. The reason being is, well, docking radius. So when you have a station, like the FTAC-Y station or the FC-TAC station, what happens is when you undock, you're still at 0 of the docking radius. In fact, you can burn 20 and 30 kilometers off before you actually start seeing distance calculations being measured, because the game considers all that space as part of the docking radius. So that's a good station. Then you have what's called kickout stations. Kickout stations are a little bit different. They immediately kick a player out, and the second you undock, you start seeing distance calculations. These are bad because it's impossible for a freighter, a jump freighter, a capital, whatever, to jump to one of these stations with a cyno and then immediately dock. It's not possible. So the stations you see on your screen right now with the words horrible on top of them are the stations that you absolutely never, ever want to cyno to. These stations are a little bit better. Now, you're going to notice possibly a few that you've recognized. These stations have slightly smaller, have a docking radius. It's not huge, it's not small. It's enough for a cyno, but it can be a little bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing. Now, these stations are the absolute best stations. You'll notice the Yang station, which is, in my opinion, the absolute best station in the game because all you have to do is undock and control spacebar. The FY station and the FC station. So now, keep these in mind. Be sure to recognize which stations are good, which are bad, which to cyno to, which never to cyno to, and let's transition into what a cyno is, how it works, and how to light it. Alright guys, so you just finished watching this section and showing you which stations are great to cyno onto and which stations are terrible to cyno onto. But now that you know which stations are good and which are bad, let's cover how a cyno works, how it functions, what fuel it uses, and how to actually light one. So real quick, you'll notice I'm in a frigate. The reason for this being is that to light a cyno, it makes your ship immobile for 10 minutes. Essentially, you cannot do anything. You can activate modules, but you can't move, you can't warp off, you can't dock, you're stuck there for 10 minutes. So generally, it's common practice to put it on really cheap frigates, even rookie frigates in a lot of cases, because they're capable of, lighting the cyno, and then if they die, they die. It's just a rookie frigate. So the first thing you're going to need is the skill. So the skill to light a cyno is Sinusoidal Field Theory. It's this skill right here. The skill book itself tends to cost between 5 and 10 mil, which can be a little bit pricey depending on where you get it, but it's easily one of the most valuable skills you'll have in EVE, and I recommend you get it immediately. Now, every time you train this skill, it's a 10% for another level, it's a 10% reduction in the LO that you need to light it. What's LO? Well, liquid ozone is the fuel that a cyno needs to light. If you don't have enough LO, the cyno doesn't go up. So, training the skill to 4 makes it very useful because it means you can now light cynos in rookie frigates without cargo hold expanders, and then you don't have to worry about anything but LO in the cyno. So once you have this skill trained to level 1, you'll be able to use this shiny module that looks like a fist called a Sinusoidal Field Generator, or a cyno. Now once you fit this to one of your ships, you need to make sure you have enough LO to light it. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click, you're going to press Show Info, and then you are going to look at attributes. The attributes is going to show you how much you need. For my skill level, I need 400 units of LO. So I will check my cargo hold, and in this case, I'm carrying at least 400 units in a single stack. Make sure to put your LO in one stack, otherwise the cyno won't light. So I have enough LO to light the cyno, so I'm going to go ahead and undock and show you guys how to light the cyno. Now, I am docked in FC-TAC, which is one of those beautiful Minimatar stations, which is great at, cynoing onto. So what you're going to do is you're going to control spacebar as soon as you undock. The reason for this being is that when you light a cyno, it's got a 5k radius around it that the ships can cyno into. So I've enabled my tactical overview here, and these rings show you the distance from my ship in radius. This ring here is 5 kilometers, and this ring is actually the distance at which it's possible for ships to cyno in. So when I light the cyno, it is somewhere inside this 5-kilometer ring that this ship is going to cyno into, anywhere in it. So what you want to do is when you're setting up a cyno, you want to set it up so that you're in one of the stations that's not a kickout station. So it has a large radius, so that when a ship cynos in, it'll be able to dock immediately. But at the same time, you want to make sure that the 5-kilometer ring isn't touching the station, and that there's a little bit of room between the ring and the station. This being that if a ship comes in too close and hits the station, it's going to bump off the station. So I'm going to demonstrate how to light the cyno now. Desi, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so I have the LO. Oh, no, sorry. So I have the LO, and I'm ready to light the cyno. Now all I do is hit the
Call the
module.
cyno when you're ready.
Cyno's up. You can go ahead and jump, Desi.
10 seconds.
So Desi's currently undocking, and as soon as this session change finishes, he's jumping, as you just heard. And he will be landing somewhere in this 5-kilometer ring, possibly on the edge of it. Right there. He is on that edge of the 5-kilometer ring. Now, so people are wondering what are the requirements for this ship. As you can see, he just cynoed in and he was able to dock immediately without moving. That's good because this station is not a kick-out station. So that covers how to light a cyno. As you can see, I'm now immobile. I can't move, I can't dock, I have to wait until I'm done. But there's something to keep in mind, something you have to remember. To be able to jump to a cyno, the pilot lighting the cyno has to be in the same fleet as you. It doesn't have to be the same wing, doesn't have to be the same squad, it doesn't matter where you are in the fleet, but to be able to jump to a cyno, you need to be in the same fleet. So that covers the cyno video for today, guys. I hope my talking didn't confuse you too much, but hopefully it taught you what to do and how to light cynos. And if you're in Naga, I hope you train this skill as soon as possible because it's a very valuable skill to have. So, great seeing you guys. Till next time.